Go Wildcats.
We're good? Okay. Go ahead and switch. All right, so we are just getting our computers logged out of one meeting and logged back into the current meeting that we're in. And so I'm going to go ahead and call our regular meeting to order. It is 6:03. Madam Clerk, have you received any correspondence on tonight's agenda?
Any correspondence is in your red folders in front
All
of
right,
you.
thank you. And if you don't mind, would you please call roll?
Councilmember Estrada,
Here.
Councilmember Carwin,
Here.
Councilmember Sobek,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dinas,
Here.
and Mayor Zimmerman.
And I'm here, thank you. And I believe we have Pastor Tony Truax. He's with Hope Christian Church of Menifee, and he is here. So thank you, sir, for coming and sharing some words of inspiration to help us start our meeting tonight.
Thank you so much. Well, to my neighbors and friends and to the council, it's a pleasure. As a pastor, I get words of inspiration from the Bible, so I'd like to share from Philippians what the Apostle Paul said, and I think it's a good thing for each and every one of us. And it says, I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. So for all of us here tonight, I just hope that this scripture can be for each of us something that we can rely upon, particularly when we're facing life's challenges that are oftentimes bigger than ourselves. And so tonight, as we go to a meeting, the decisions that we're making and the conversation that we have are bigger than any one of us. So let's say a little prayer. Almighty God and Father, as we gather this evening, representing our beautiful city of Menifee, we come before you with hearts that are filled with gratitude and humility. We recognize the tremendous responsibility entrusted to us to serve our community with integrity, compassion, wisdom, and unity. We pray that you would grant our council members the strength to lead with steadfast courage and with empathy to understand the needs of our citizens. Grant them the vision to guide our city toward prosperity and harmony. Make the deliberations this evening be guided by fairness, justness, and a respect for all citizens as we seek the best possible solutions for the challenges that our city may face. Bless the efforts with clarity of mind and purpose, and may they work together in harmony for the better good of our community. Grant this, we pray, Lord, in your holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Truax. We appreciate you coming tonight.
My pleasure.
All right. So one of our traditions here in Menifee, when we do our flag salute, we like to choose someone in the audience. And tonight we have someone special here who I haven't asked if she would do this. Kim. She is the director at Michelle's Place. They serve this area, people who have cancer. So Kim Garish, if you don't mind leading our flag salute tonight, thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You'll join me in the pledge. Ready? Go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Kim. All right, so we have some presentations. There's 3 of them tonight. The first one we're going to take seated, Council, and then the next 2 will come up to the front. Our first one, 5.1, is Riverside County Transportation Commission. I see Ann Mayer is here. She is the director, and we're going to hear a little bit about the traffic relief plan.
Sure are. Thank you very much. It's great to be here in Menifee. It's been a couple of years since I've joined you at a council meeting, and I'm always impressed by how much attendance you have from your community. It's great to see such community involvement. And I am here this evening to share some information about the Riverside County Transportation Commission and a draft traffic relief plan that we currently have out for public review and feedback. And as always, I'd like to thank the City of Menifee for your partnership in all things transportation in Riverside County. So first off, let's talk first about who the Riverside County Transportation Commission is. Riverside County Transportation Commission was established in 1976. We are the regional transportation planning agency. Over the years, we have acquired a variety of different responsibilities, but basically all transportation funding, the majority of funding at the state and federal level for transportation flows through the Riverside County Transportation Commission. Over the years, we have also added a half-cent sales tax called Measure A, so it's a half-cent sales tax approved by voters to provide funding for transportation services. And we cover everything related to transportation, whether it's sidewalks, trails, bicycle lanes, highway improvements, interchanges. We're a member, we're one of the Joint Power Authority members of Metrolink, so that's the commuter rail, as well as partners with Riverside Transit Agency, so that's bus service as well. So across the board, from a transportation perspective, RCTC is engaged. RCTC is governed by 34 commissioners, 33 elected officials. So it's a member of the city council from each of the 28 cities in Riverside County, all 5 county supervisors, and a governor's appointee. So RCTC is governed by local elected officials. Mayor Zimmerman is the RCTC representative on our board. I should also add, in addition to the other things I mentioned, we are also the owner-operator of both the I-15 express lanes and the 91 express lanes, so the toll facilities on I-15 and 91. Both of those are governed by the RCTC board. And I should add, I am also the executive director of the Western Riverside County Regional Conservation Authority. Upon that board, Councilmember Sobek sits on that board representing Menifee. So we have a great opportunity to coordinate with the elected officials here in Menifee. So again, I mentioned that RCTC has a broad responsibility related to transportation across the board. So for anyone who was a little bit frustrated during the construction of the widening of the 215 all the way through Paris, all the way down to the Y, south of Murrieta. Yes, that was us, but people were pretty happy when that was over. So when that was widened to 3 lanes, that was us. We have provided funding for the interchanges that have been critical down here in this area as well, providing funding for RTA bus service, as well as providing for some of the trail projects here. Just for example, Salt Creek Trail is another project that we provided funding on. So again, we cover a broad spectrum of transportation services. We also fund the Freeway Service Patrol. So if you see the white tow trucks going up and down the 215, stopping to help someone who's got a flat tire, run out of gas, we're also here to provide safety services for commuters as well. So an important part of our responsibilities are making sure that we stay in touch with the people who live and work in Riverside County and making sure that we understand what the important priorities are. Last May, we did a statistically valid public opinion survey. So we surveyed over 1,200 people from around Riverside County, asking questions about their priorities. And it's really pretty fascinating to see. You can see on this slide, over 92% keeping roads in good conditions, especially with all this winter weather and rain we've been having. That's increasingly becoming important to people. Again, keeping roads in good condition, repairing potholes, making sure we're taking care of our disadvantaged neighborhoods, reducing congestion, improving safety, and keeping senior, student, and disabled as well as veteran bus fares low. And you can see these numbers are pretty staggering. We're talking about 83 to 92% of the people we surveyed ranked these areas as very high priorities for them with respect to their transportation needs. For several years, RCTC has been gathering this kind of information. We've had public meetings, we've done the polling, we've had meetings throughout the county, trying to make sure that we identify what's most important to people. In 2020, the commission adopted a traffic relief plan based on several years worth of public outreach. And last year, the commission charged us with going back out to the public to seek public input to update our traffic relief plan. Much has changed since 2020. COVID had a huge impact on how people commute, with work from home for many people, that's changed commuting patterns, but also it's changed how people travel in terms of transit. So we've been out on a road show with a draft traffic relief plan, developing not only concepts related to addressing the areas of concern for people, but also seeking input. We have identified a plan that has billions of dollars worth of investment in transportation throughout the entirety of Riverside County. And this is an aspirational plan. It's a plan for the future, and that is the plan that we're here seeking your input on this evening, as well as in the coming weeks. So I've talked about this being an aspirational plan about spending investing billions of dollars in transportation in the county. What this plan is not is it is not a plan that is currently funded. It's an aspirational plan, and it is not funded unless additional funding is approved by voters. So the plan is broken up into 3 different areas: Western Riverside County, which is basically Cabazon to the west to Corona, Coachella Valley, so the Coachella Valley area, and the Palo Verde Valley, which is Blythe. So 3 geographical areas. I'm just going to focus on Western Riverside County tonight. And what we've identified based on the polling we've done and the community outreach that we've done is that these are the areas where people have identified areas of most concern to them. Safe streets and roads, and that's an area of talking about making sure that your local streets are safe for vehicles, pedestrians, and bicycles. We also have highway components. For many people, they need to be able to use the highway system to get to and from work and other places they need to go, and congestion is a significant issue. Regional connections is another important category, and for us, regional connections are defined as those areas of our county that aren't connected very well. I think last time I was here, there were questions about the Ethernet corridor. So a regional connection would be the Ethernet-Elsinore corridor, the 79 corridor that runs from Winchester all the way up to Lambs Canyon in Beaumont, the Mid-County Parkway, which runs from the 215 around Ramona Expressway all the way into Hemet and San Jacinto. Those are key examples of regional connectors. Public transportation is another area, whether it is Metrolink rail service for any of you who go up to Paris to take the train into Orange County, Riverside, Orange County, or LA, or just simply bus service. Commuter assistance, again, freeway service patrol, active transportation, trails, bike paths, pedestrian facilities, and then a key component, environmental mitigation, to make sure that the projects that we're constructing are mitigated, both from an air quality standpoint, the area of reducing vehicle miles traveled. So there's a lot of mitigation that goes along with it. So these are the key areas in Western Riverside County that have been identified as needing investment. So here's some examples of projects that are in the plan that may be of interest to you. We know that the I-215 Garbani interchange is important, as is Keller Road down the road in Murrieta. Pothole repair, local street maintenance, making sure that we have sustainable bus service for those who are dependent on transit. We're also looking at additional rail service all the way out to the Coachella Valley. So rail service that would run Los Angeles, Riverside, on in through the San Gorgonio Pass and out to Coachella, so that the entire county has access to rail service. The other option too that we're looking at is expanding rail service from Paris all the way out to Hemet and San Jacinto along that existing old rail line that's there. I mentioned environmental mitigation. There are requirements now to mitigate projects in ways we've never had to mitigate before, and that will take a significant investment to get approved. I've already mentioned some of the regional connectors. One I didn't mention before was Cajelco Road, so widening Cajelco Road between I-15 and 215, as well as trails and other improvements. So these are just a few examples of the projects that could be of interest to your community. So I mentioned before that we're talking about billions of dollars worth of improvements, and that the projects in the plan are not funded. So where would the funding come to pay for all of this infrastructure? If the commission decided to do so, the commission could put a 1-cent sales tax on the ballot for voters in Riverside County to consider whether or not to raise the sales tax to pay for these investments. So what does a 1 penny sales tax mean in terms of revenue generated, and what would it mean in terms of our economy? We project that over a 30-year period that a 1 cent sales tax would raise around $25 billion. That $25 billion would break out based on population, about $20 billion in western Riverside County, so this area, $5 billion in the Coachella Valley, and then $100 million in the Palo Verde Valley. That money would be invested in the transportation improvements that would be included in an expenditure plan, and would not only provide the transportation benefit, but also would provide a return investment to our economy as well, related to direct jobs that would be supported, indirect jobs that would be supported, but also the benefits to our communities and our businesses who would be able to have access, better transportation access. So an important part of conversation anytime you start talking about taxes, that definitely creates a lot of concern about what's going to happen to my money and where will it be spent and who will be responsible for it. And I think one of the things that's so important about a local sales tax measure is direct accountability to the taxpayers. As I mentioned before, the RCTC board is made up of local elected officials who are directly accountable to their constituents. These are local funds, local priorities, local control. The money cannot be diverted to Sacramento. It cannot be diverted to Washington, D.C. The money stays here, and of course, the money comes with accountability requirements, such as independent audits and mandatory reviews. So the existing RCTC Measure A has been built on the premise of promises made, promises kept. When you promise people that you're going to take their hard-earned money and invest it in an improvement to benefit them, that you have to do that, and RCTC has shown that repeatedly, that we can do that. So I mentioned at the beginning that we did a poll that asked general questions about the transportation components that are most important to people, and you saw those numbers of up over 80%. So when we asked the question at the beginning, 82% of Riverside County voters said they saw a need for transportation funding. And it was just a generic question of, do you think we need more money to do all of the things you want us to do? 82% of the people in the poll said, yes, you need more money. We didn't ask them where the money would come from. They just think we need more money. We then went and asked the specific question of, would you be willing to pay an increased sales tax to get the projects and programs and services that are included in this plan? 62% of the people in the poll in the Menifee, Temecula, Murrieta, Lake Elsinore, Canyon Lake, Wildomar area, we broke it down into subregions, 62% initially supported a transportation funding measure. The entirety of Riverside County, it was at 67%. So you can see here that there's a critical interest in making investments because transportation has such an impact on people here in Riverside County and actually throughout the Inland Empire. So again, this was information we obtained last year. We have been out to almost every single city council in the entirety of Riverside County, having meetings out in each of the communities. We've had social media surveys put out. And we have a website that has been developed. It's called trafficreliefplan.org. So anyone in the audience who wants to zoom in on that QR code, it will take you right to the plan. You can see the plan in its entirety. You can zoom in on areas of the county that you have greater interest in. We have a comment area in the plan where you can submit comments directly to us. You can also reach us through any of those other formats. But our goal through the end of March is to seek as much public input as we can receive, both from elected officials as well as from the community in general, on the plan that we have. Do we have the right things in the plan? Does the plan address the areas of concern in your communities? Do we have it right? Did we hear you? So through the end of March, we're gathering comments, and then we'll be updating the plan to take to the RCTC board in April for them to consider approval of the traffic relief plan. The commission has not made any decisions yet on whether or not they would take this traffic relief plan and proceed with a ballot measure. That decision is likely not to be considered until June. So I'll conclude my presentation there. Be happy to answer any questions. Again, there's multiple ways to contact us and share your input there, and we're happy to hear any of the feedback that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Council members, do we have any feedback or questions? Go ahead, Councilmember Sobek.
Thank you, and thank you, Anne, for being here tonight. By the way, she's retiring after how many years? Coming up here in May?
I'm only 24 years old, but it's after 41 years.
Okay,
So,
after
yeah,
41 years. She's done a great
Yeah.
job for Riverside County. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here tonight.
Yep, thank you.
There was one of the slides that you showed that I don't see in our booklet, that you specified our area. Can we get a copy of that slide?
Sure.
Okay, I would like a copy of that. Thank you.
And also on the the interactive tool on the website, you can click, you can click a button on your area and it will actually pull up what's in your area. So you could do that on the website too. But absolutely, you can
Okay.
get a copy of that slide.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your presentation.
Council members, any other comments? Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, go, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for being here, ma'am. I think having a discussion about raising taxes and bringing transparency and public awareness for everyone to be aware about what's going on, and with that is a very important topic. And I look forward to seeing in June what all of our county decides on doing. But thank you for bringing light to that for the residents.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and so I just wanted to say, it was 5 years ago that I became a RCTC commissioner. It was the very first time I saw budgets that I was allowed to vote and approve that had a B in the dollar figure instead of an M. And even M's here are pretty rare, so it's a huge undertaking, and you have a tremendous responsibility. So thank you for all your years of service. We look forward to welcoming Mr. Hake in the future, and I did want you to maybe share, because when we were at our recent workshop, we talked about Highway 79, and that's from Hemet to Beaumont, and maybe we're going to be taking that over from the state.
Yes. So one of RCTC's projects is called the 79 Realignment Project, and I don't have a graphic for that here today, but it basically is the Winchester Road in the Winchester area, starting right around Newport. And the realignment will be a brand new roadway going on brand new alignment, not any of the existing roads, all the way up to Gilman Springs and Sanderson. So it's about a 15-mile brand new corridor. We have the environmental document for that done. So we've cleared all of the environmental processes. We just haven't had the money to get started with the design and acquisition of a lot of the right-of-way. So it is a $1.5 billion I think it's like $1.7 billion to build the whole thing. But at our January meeting of the RCTC, the board approved us getting started on the first segment. So that will be the first segment starting at Newport Road and going either to Dominagoni or Simpson. So it's just an initial couple of miles to get us started with design and right-of-way on that segment. And then we'll have to build it in segments as we have the money to do so. But that we are already starting the right-of-way process on that, looking at parcels that we would need to acquire. So we are getting underway on the 79 project as well.
Thank you. I just wanted you to share about that because it affects us. And most of our drivers here in the city of Menifee, when we're going to the desert especially, that's the route we take, Lamb Canyon. And to get there, Warren and all that, it's a little bit tricky. So
It's a little bit tricky. We are also in conversations with Beaumont related to the 1079 interchange, because if any of you are trying to get here from the I-10 Lambs Canyon area, that congestion up there is pretty difficult. And so we're talking to them about what we can do up there too.
that's right. This is what RCTC does, regional. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Mayor.
Thank you
We
very
appreciate
much.
you coming.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move to our next item, everyone. We are on item 5.2. Council members, we're going to go up front, and I'd like to call on Martin DeCastro. Are you here? Yes, okay, there is. All right, and we're going to join you up in the front, and we'll come right up here and present. I'll get a microphone.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Mr. DeCastro, why don't you come to the middle here, and I'm going to ask Linda Denver to also come and join us as well, and I'll go ahead and have you introduce yourself.
Okay, how's it going? Thank you. Hello, City of Menifee, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. My name is Martin DeCastro, representing the Riverside County Office of Economic Development, and we are excited for the launch of the Riverside County Arts and Culture Month. We are thrilled to have all 28 Riverside County cities supporting this initiative, along with 17 city libraries, 36 Riverside County Library Systems libraries, and over 50 participating locations. So participants can acquire a commemorative exploration pass, the one I have here, and receive a stamp for the location they visit. Additionally, some participating locations will host special events, providing attendees with opportunities for engaging activities. So for the month of March 2024, if you guys want to know all the participating locations, you guys can visit it's rivcoartsandculture.org. Once again, we want to thank the City of Menifee for your support and participation for this exciting initiative.
So we have a proclamation to present. We're very excited and thankful to the EDA at the county for hosting this. It's a great idea. This is the first annual, right? Yes. And so hopefully this continues in perpetuity, because it's all about art and culture, and that's what improves our quality of life. And Menifee gets to be a part of it because we have Arts Council Menifee, and Linda's going to share about that. We also have a history museum, and you talked about that stamp program. So when people come with a passport, we have a stamp that we can put on there. So when they're going around and visiting, we would welcome anyone to come to see our museum. But I'm going to pass the microphone to Miss Linda Denver. She's representing both Arts Council and the Menifee Valley Historical Association.
Good evening, everyone. Arts and culture. Menifee is rich and becoming richer with the arts and with culture through the Arts Council Menifee, first of all. So I'll tell you about that. Our purpose is to bring artists to the public and set up organized events where artists the public can come and see the artwork. Our upcoming event that we're having is the Menifee Arts Showcase. This is the 12th year that we presented this. It'll be over at Countryside Marketplace in front of the businesses between Bushfire on the south end and Chipotle on the north end. And right in the middle between Painted Earth and Daniel's Jewelers, we'll have a stage where we'll have performers singing, dancing, playing instruments, and they're all people from our area. So the date for that, everybody's getting out your calendar, is April 27th. That's a Saturday, from 11 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. So that's the most recent event coming up. However, Menifee's Got Talent will be presented on May 31st at Liberty High School. Now, you can hear about all of these different things on our website, artscouncilmenifee.org. And if you have a talent that you'd like to show off at Menifee's Got Talent, we are having the auditions on April 20th. That's a Saturday. And we also have online opportunities for auditions. So please go to the website and get all of the information you need to know about these two events. That's one hat. Now, I'm also the secretary for Menifee Valley Historical Association. Did you know that Menifee has a historical museum? It goes all the way back to the Native Americans and up to current time, with focusing in a very small area, actually about the size of this room, covering all of the interesting things that have gone on in Menifee from its inception to current time. The museum is open between 11 and 4. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. He's a founder, so he knows all this stuff. Too many notes. 1 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoons. And the location is in the complex between the Boys and Girls Club and Menifee Valley Middle School on Garbani. So come on out. We have docents who will give you very knowledgeable information, especially from our mayor. So please come out, find out all about Menifee. You don't know till you come, right? So we'll see you all there.
Thank you for the Menifee update. So we want to present this to you, and it basically says, on behalf of the city of Menifee, I proclaim the month of March 2024 as Riverside County Art and Culture Month in the city of Menifee, and we continue encouraging the arts and culture in our community and in the region. So, Mr. DeCastro, this is for you to hang on your wall. You probably got a whole bunch of other ones because I know you're touring all the cities. If you wanted to share anything else, we're good? All right, so let's get tight and we'll take a photo together. Congratulations and thank you so much. Look forward to a great month. Yes. All right, so I'm going to ask Mr. Robles. He is the coach for Paloma Valley High School, the Wildcat wrestling team. Come on up here, Lewis. Let's give him a hand. But really, the hand goes to our wrestlers because they were superstars this year. They went to CIF. They were champions, brought home that great honor to the city of Menifee representing us. And so tonight we want to ask all of the wrestling team to come on up and join us. We have a nice certificate for each one of you to take home. And we're going to have Mr. Robles share a few words about some of the highlights from this year's season.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. So the biggest thing to start off with is it's been historic ever since the first year we won it, because I think one of the things that now people are forgetting that is very, very difficult to win a CIF championship. And this one is our fourth one in a row. We've been winning them since 2020, and it's getting extremely difficult. And the most impressive part was that this year was a much younger team than the past few years when we've won. I would say most of the lineup was first and second year wrestlers. Some of our wrestlers actually started late in the season, a month or two in the season, but they worked very hard to fill the lineup, get it the right weights, and just produce when the time came. And when the time came and we got the CIF duels, we actually won all three meets at the preliminary duels by one match. One of the duels we actually tied, and it came down to criteria, which was we all have to go to the table, find out what the tiebreakers are, and we came victorious. And then we hosted at home versus Montclair, which was actually our most dominant win of the whole tournament. But yeah, we have a great group of girls, very young, so hopefully we can continue it. But again, 4-peat is something that is pretty amazing in any city, in any district, and in any school, but especially at Paloma Valley.
So we have all the names of the players. Make it easy on the coach because he's going to read them real fast, and that way he doesn't forget anybody.
All right, and I know we have a couple missing. We had, I think, one young lady sick and one had a swim meet. But first one is Athena Science Franco. Bailey Kemp, I know she couldn't make it. Brandy Ayala. Brooke Bobette. Dina Elysion. Ileana Martinez. Estrella Santana. Gabriela Jimenez. Jamie Lynn Barron. Gianna Alexis Rivera, she couldn't make it. Linda Guerra. Melissa Moreno. Nicole Tinson couldn't make it. Savannah Leva. And Iru Hong also couldn't make it.
Well, congratulations. We are very, very proud of you. And I think next year we'll make it 5, right? We're going to do that. We give you the encouragement. Keep up the great work. I know I wrestled in high school and it was a ton of work. We worked out and it was not easy, right? You guys have to agree. It was a lot of work and a lot of effort. But when you give it everything you got, it shows that you can be champions. And so I hope you carry that with you the rest of your lives. We have a really nice certificate here, but it'd probably take 10 minutes to figure out who's who. So I'm just going to give you guys a stack on the way out. But can we take a picture together? Is that all right? All right. So maybe we can get as tight as we can. And just like that, we're down to 3 people. I'm just kidding. It is great to be able to honor our young people, right? How many of you agree that their lives are more important than all of ours? Yeah. So let's encourage them every way we can, and things like this tonight is just a great opportunity to do so. All right. Council members, we're on item 6. This is agenda approval or modifications, and I believe, Madam Clerk, staff does want to pull one item, right?
Yes, Your Honor, staff would like to please pull item number 10.8 from the agenda and bring it back at a later date.
Okay, that's noted. And then, council members, I'd like to ask if you guys concur that moving item 14, that's the city manager's report, and we'll go ahead and take that item next. Is everybody okay with that? All right, I'm just going to ask, all in favor of approving the agenda as modified with 10.8 pulled and moving our city manager's report sooner? All in favor, would you please say aye? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, so we'll go ahead and, that's approved unanimously. We're going to go ahead and ask our city manager to help us, and we'll take item 14 now. Would you like to share some updates with us, sir?
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for doing that. I'm sure there's a couple of people that would like to talk on an item that I have. I have a couple of announcements. One of them is a pleasure to announce, and the other one not so much a pleasure, but I'd like to introduce our newest division chief. His name is Mark Scoville. Mark, can I ask you to come up to the podium up there? Mark comes to us from the county after serving for 30 years as a firefighter, and he has previously served as the battalion chief for the area in Paris. And due to the growth in the area, the county has decided to redesignate the areas, the service areas, for the sole purpose of reducing the response times. And the county has now decided to designate an area for Paris and Menifee, and now Mark is going to be the division chief for Paris and Menifee. So, Mark, congratulations, and I don't know if you'd like to say a couple of words, and we'd like to introduce you to the council and to the community.
Okay, well, Mayor, City Council, City staff, community, thank you for having me here. I'm excited to be a part of the Menifee team. As the city manager said, I am part of Menifee and the city of Paris. Don't hold any of that against me. I will be sharing my time where my time needs to be shared. Currently, it needs to be shared here in the city of Menifee while I get on board with you guys. And as I do, I'm excited, I'm humbled, and I will give you guys my best efforts. And I thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right. So on behalf of the council, welcome Chief Scoville. We look forward to working with you.
Me as well, sir.
Yes, great. And Mr. City Manager, did you want to share a little bit about our former chief?
Yeah, so unfortunately, we asked Lonnie to be here, but I think he's serving a mission. So what I like to do is I like to ask Lonnie to come here, because I really like to thank him for the year, almost 2 years of service that he served with us, but I'll do that at the next city council meeting.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. So Mark is we had the pleasure of talking, and Mark hit the ground running. He's been here since Friday now, and I think he's had 0 sleep, right, Mark?
It's a lot. It's like trying to drink water through a fire hose. It just doesn't work out well.
Yeah, Mark is going to be perfect for our community. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And Mayor and Councilman, the next announcement is a little bit sad, but I'd like to announce and give a farewell to Gina Gonzalez. As you know, she's our esteemed Economic Development Director. She has been with us for the last 10 years out of our 15 years existence. She has been an integral part of our Economic Development Department. She's been an asset to our community. She's been involved in many economic development deals in our city. She's been involved in multi-million-dollar projects here at the city. She's actually been involved in a lot of the growth of our community and the reason why our community is thriving. And earlier today I had a discussion with her, and as much as I'd like to keep every employee that has made a mark in our community, we have to let them go and spread their wings and pursue their goals, professional goals. And I think Gina has decided to do that. What I'd like to do is I'd like to present her with a certificate of recognition for the years of services, the service that she's done to our community. She's been an integral part. She's going to be missed. Gina, we're going to miss you, and I'd like to give you the certificate. And I think I heard there's some people that want to talk, but they can't do it now. I think they're going to do it on the public speaking part of it.
Coming up next.
That's my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you taking your comments a little sooner. So with that, we're going to move now to item 7, and that is public comments on non-agenda items. I'm assuming there is request to speak, so I'm going to read this. This is the time for members of the public to address the council about items that are not listed on the agenda. The Brown Act limits the council's ability to respond to comments on non-agenda matters at the time they're made. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. So with that, Madam Clerk, would you please call the first non-agenda public speaker?
First up is Jillian Larson.
All right. Welcome, Jillian. Good to see you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, City staff, and the citizens of Menifee. We are here to say that Reality Rally will sadly be no more, and we wanted to thank you for all the parts that you played, which were huge, and there are a few others of us that would like to thank you as well.
I'm Marilyn Watson and my husband Bill Watson, and we founded Michelle's Place in 2001. And Jillian brought Reality Rally to help Michelle's Place build awareness in our communities and reach out to people who are taking their cancer journey, that we are there to support them. And we thank you for all that you have done for us.
Mayor and council and community, we just want to thank you so much for the support through Reality Rally over all the years. It was fun for funds, and I want to take this opportunity to also thank Jillian, because She's just such a fun person with such a huge heart, and we are so grateful as the executive director of Michelle's Place for the money and for the participation and for the awareness. So thank you.
Ms. Garish, can you tell us about how much money the Reality
She knows
Rally and all the events that happen on that over the years have raised?
I'll let Jillian talk about it. She knows to the penny.
So thank you. Yes, we were very, very careful with the money, and we together, and Reality Rally was a huge event with at least 2,000 people involved, and together we raised over $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
And you were all a big part of that, so thank you. But I don't want to take the rest of the time. We want to say more thank yous.
Okay.
I'm Ron Larson on the Board of Directors, and I thank you for your participation and support.
Thank you, Ron.
Hello, Bill Watson, and I'd like to thank the council for all their years of support. We had a great time, especially with the cities battling with each other. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Watson. And speaking of cities battling with each other, I think maybe Councilman Carwin might have a little something to share as well.
Ms. Larson, would you please tell us who the most recent champion of the Reality Rally is?
Well, I have to say that, as you know, Lake Elsinore seemed to win for 8 years, and you took it on, and several of you, there were 3 of you on the teams over the years, so thank you. But you took that trophy with 5 minutes to spare in 2023, was it? Whatever the last, no, 22. So thank you very much. And it was partly because of all the funds you raised. That was the purpose of it. And so if anybody doesn't know, Reality Rally was created for 3 reasons. One was to raise money for Michelle's Place and awareness of what their center provided. It was also to promote Temecula and the Valley, and all of you did
Larson,
promote the
your
Valley.
time is up.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. You know,
Just a quick question, follow-up to my previous question.
All right.
Is it true that the city of Lake Elsinore demanded the end to the Reality Rally so that they wouldn't get beaten in back-to-back years by the city of Menifee? That's just a rumor that I heard, that I just made up.
Well, I can't comment to that, but no, actually not that I heard that rumor, but the main reason is that I'm just getting older and things have changed and my husband retired and we're going to do other things. So, but maybe that is true. So thank you very much for that. And just so that you are aware, we are putting together a thank you, a Reality Rally thank you, farewell movie. And that's why we have our Michael Scalisi from Black Tie filming us all, because he's going to include some of these clips in that thank you video movie. It's a movie, and I will make sure that you all know when. But one more thing. In addition, the Reality Rally board and the event planners, well, the event directors, we all got together and decided what had to be done. So, here we have a special award for Menifee. Sorry, it takes a while to get the cover off. So there we are. This award is the Reality Rally Valley Intercity Challenge. Winners of the final Reality Rally of the Valley Intercity Challenge 2022 in appreciation for funds raised for Michelle's Place Cancer Resource Center. So we would like to, all of us from Reality Rally would like to present this to you so that you've got it for the rest of your Menifee time. And Menifee played a huge part in it, many of your residents. So thank you. All right, let's go up there.
Yeah.
I know, we painted his face.
Yep. That's cute. Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Jillian.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, if I can, I just want to make sure that we give credit where credit is due to Menifee Police Officer Melissa Miller, who was really the driving force, and her husband were made up the Menifee team with myself, and then we had our celebrity Christina Correa, who was the strategic genius behind putting it together. I was just the person who donated all the money to get us the free skips. So I just want to make sure that Officer Miller gets the credit where credit is due for that.
Good call, good call. All right, thank you so much. All right, we're moving on. Madam Clerk, do we have any other public speakers on non-agenda matters?
Yes, next up is Monica Carley,
All right,
followed by Jason White.
great. Welcome, Mrs. Carley.
Good evening, Mayor Zimmerman and City Council members. My name is Monica Barola Carley. I am a resident of Menifee, and I have lived here for the past 2 years, and I love this city. I am also a newly elected member of the Board of Directors for Hidden Meadows Association, and I'm a very concerned citizen as well. First, a big thank you to you for your time and service to our city. It's much appreciated. A big thank you to our Menifee Fire Department and our Menifee Police Department, and also a thank you to Doug Spoon, who is the editor of Menifee 24/7, for posting our new titled article, Menifee Youths Ignite Concern with Unauthorized Bonfires. The area of concern and awareness of these bonfires is within the borders of Menifee Road, Garbani, Briggs Road, and Holland. There are multiple access roads to these hills, mainly from Garbani off of Pittman Lane, and also the access road called Melmore off of Holland. The GPS shows this as the Volcano Ridge Trail. Within these beautiful hills are many man-made trails, some laced with trash. At the top of the hill is a sensitive habitat area within the San Jacinto Basin Resource Conservation District, which is directly behind my home. Next to my home is also the Valleywide Park. The lighting for this park is not maintained, so during the evening hours, many things happen at this park, from quick drug deals, sexual paraphernalia left behind, and now a quick escape route for youth. These youth are congregating in the hills in a secluded spot that is hard to see from any of those streets. They are hauling up wood from wood stakes to pallets in their trucks. Along with the wood, there is also different types of liquor being consumed by these miners. There are cans, bottles, burnt wood, as well as fresh wood still lingering. I have taken some pictures of these items just today. This last incident happened Friday evening around 8 p.m. in front of my home. Thankfully, a concerned citizen had called the fire department and police department regarding this unapproved bonfire event. When the fire and police department arrived, the youth quickly took their usual trail to their cars on Melmore, the access road to evade police officers. When they realized there were police officers on Melmore, they took another trail. The other trail these youth walked through was the Conservation Reserve, which is private property. They jumped over the fence to the park, trying to get to their cars another way. There were over 40 youth, boys and girls, middle school to high school age, emerging from this dark valley-wide park. This is one of several incidents occurring on our weekends. These gatherings are announced on Snapchat. After this message is viewed by these students, the announcement will automatically delete unless the user has created other settings. We are hoping to add this awareness of youth safety and the importance of parental awareness. There are many underlying risks to what may appear as...
Carly, your time is up.
If you're getting close to the end,
I
you
am.
can
I just
continue.
have like 2 more paragraphs.
Go ahead, Monica.
Thank you. Yeah, there are many underlying risks to what may appear as innocent fun. These are illegal and unauthorized bonfires. There are significant risks of fire hazards to the environment and homeowners, and possible harm or injury to those attending these secluded bonfires. So to ensure everyone's well-being, I, along with many other homeowners, are asking the community and parents to help safeguard our youth, our homes, and the natural beauty around us by providing guidance and awareness. So if we can try to find other solutions as parents and community members to be proactive, to educate our youth about the responsibility of their independence, but also educate them about the consequences of their actions, we would most appreciate that. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for taking the time tonight and sharing. All right,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Madam Clerk, next speaker, please.
Next up is Jason White, followed by Matt Leesmeyer.
Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, Dean Dynas, and City Council community members. My name is Jason White, and tonight I want to speak to you on behalf of the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce. I am the current chairman of the board, a title that I am proud and honored to have. It didn't work out, you know, I was there, and when the position came open, everybody else stepped back, and I was just left up front. But I am honored to have it. I love being on the board, and I love serving my community and the business community at that. So what's going on in the Menifee Chamber? And thank you for asking. This year, we've been busy with our standard 3 events every month. They're heavily attended by both new members and our regulars who we love, and also by our city council. Thank you guys for being a part of those and coming when you can. It means a lot to us, isn't that right, Tony? We've been to Savage Chef, Pacifica Senior Living, Nutrition Elevated, just to name a few over the last couple of months. Additionally, we've held some ribbon cuttings for Exquisite Tapas, for RV Supercenter, and a lot of you are at those events, and we love the partnership. Just last week, we partnered with the city for the Brokers Luncheon, and I want to thank Gina and Kayla for partnering with us to make that a really great event. I enjoyed being there. It was my first time. So what's coming up? This is the good part. Tony, you know what's coming up. We have our gala April 27th, and it is called Under the Sea. That's the theme. It's going to be amazing. And I might be singing, just so you know. All right, that's not a plug. That is come and be a part of it, okay? You're not going to want to miss this great event, and I know all of you are going to be there. Mayor, you love being there, and I think you might be saying something that night as well. What's coming up the month of March? We have our evening social at the 9th Shield on March 12th. That's going to be where we announce who our nominees are for the different awards that are going out that night. We have our Wake Up Menifee March 19th at Nothing But Cakes, and everybody loves Carol. Midday Mixer will be March 27th at the Mott Museum. But what y'all really want to know about is what's going on with the executive director. So I'm excited to say that we do have a job posting out for the last couple of weeks, and we have, as of today, 44 applicants. Wow. So we are sifting through those. We're letting them know and thanking them. And I'm excited just to get on board with that. And hopefully within the next 30 to 45 days, we have a new president, CEO, and executive director. We're going to close that, by the way. We're going to close it on Friday, March 8th.
Mr. White, your time is up.
And thank you very much for that. Again, my pleasure to be here. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. And thank you, everyone.
We appreciate the updates, and thanks for everything you're doing, Jason. Good job.
Next up is Matt Leesmeyer, followed by Jesse Marquez.
Welcome, sir.
Hey, guys. Bummer about the reality rally. So I came tonight to speak about a couple things. First and foremost, I wanted to kind of publicly ask the question, back in December of 22, we broke ground on the fire station in Quail Valley. And here we sit today, over a year later, and it's still not complete. So just kind of asking for an update, if you guys can be a little more public about what's going on, on the real side of things. When contractors don't get the job done, there's liquidated damages, contractors get fired, contractors get replaced. So it begs the question about what's really going on out there, because that part of the city really needs a fire station. So hopefully you guys can pick it up and figure out what's going on. Number two, I did want to speak a little bit about Gina. Obviously saddened to hear of her leaving. I think Armando said it the best. She was an integral part. She made her mark in the city. And I think it's safe to say that 95% of the staff in this building wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Gina. She came to us at a time when we had a rocky council, and was integral in the replacement of a city manager at that time. After that, we all know the history. So you can look around the city and Gina's mark is everywhere. So I hope everybody realizes that. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Matt. Well said. Madam Clerk, any other speakers? Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesse
Yes.
Marquez.
Hi, welcome, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Jesse Marquez. I'm the Policy Director for Menifee Neighbors Care. We're a nonprofit community-based organization here. And unfortunately, we're here asking for you to support us in appealing a decision made by the Planning Commission last week, which was the project regarding lake shops at the lakes. We're not objecting to the entire project. It's one of the tenants that is a problem. And even though this is a Regulation 32 infill project, there are other criteria that must be considered. The car wash is right adjacent to a child care center. A child care center is a designated sensitive receptor. In your information and documents, like in the noise ordinance, element 1 and 2 things that you have, you mention many different types of sensitive receptors, but not child care centers. And according to California public health and safety law, that is a requirement right there, that be one of those considerations. In the study that was done, it referenced another car wash in Anaheim. But here's the problem with the other car wash. It's not an apple-to-apple comparison. That car wash and other car washes do not have a child care center adjacent to it. In the information I've read, it shows that 900 cars would be going to it, so approximately over 100 cars a day would be going through it. They would be lining up, they would be idling, and they would be coming out. These children would be exposed to those toxic emissions during that time. There's always also the noise. There's equipment running, there's vacuums running, so noise comes into the picture here. Typically, you have a standard, noise dBA, which is typically 50-55. When there's a sensitive receptor, typically most cities have it at 50, but if children sleep in it, it's typically also 5 dB less. So therefore, there was no air quality assessment that should have been done. There was no noise assessment that should have been done. There was no public safety emergency response assessment to those children there. The other problem was public notice. They put it in one newspaper, 300 feet around businesses right there. Well, we're talking about a child care where parents, like within 5 miles, would be bringing children there. So the notice should have gone to all those families, in our recommendation, a 3 to 5 mile radius. And then city also has its e-list, of which we're on and many others are on. They did not use that e-list. And so tomorrow we will also be filing an appeal, but I did include another document that shows that you as city council members also have the privilege and authorization to also request an appeal based on those grounds. And I thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Marquez. We appreciate you coming. Madam Clerk, any other speakers?
Yes, Francisco Urbina.
All right, welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Zimmerman, members of the City Council. Traffic is one of the #1 issues. A month or two ago, I was driving southbound on Hahn Road late in the afternoon to inquire about a larger mini storage place. And there's no left turn lane on that. Parts of it are like 2 lanes, and that can be a real hazard if there's no left turn lane. Then a car could be rear-ended, blah blah blah. But you probably already know that. The other thing, I have mixed feelings about that proposal by the Riverside County Transportation Commission to ask the voters of Riverside County for another penny increase in sales tax and or TUMP fees. Taxes and death, the only sure things in life. Are the current tax revenues being wisely spent? California, we went recently from a projected $64 billion deficit for fiscal year 2024-25. Now it's up to like $75 billion. How did we get here? And yes, the TUMP fees, regional TUMP fees, have done a lot of good improvements. I lived for a number of years in the Coachella Valley, but is there any other alternative sources of funding? And has the state of California, I think, needs to have an audit by the citizens. And I also want to say that on freeway widening, Caltrans is always going to be like 20 years behind the 8 ball. And we should be land banking, even though we don't have the money to build additional lanes. But if we project 50 years down the road, some of us may not be here, I probably won't be here, so we don't have a situation where on Temecula Parkway, Highway 79 South, they had to spend millions of dollars to buy out an Arco EMP mini mart when the Pachanga did an expansion, blah, blah, blah. So if we have a lot of vacant land, freeway level in Menifee, one of the things that the Transportation Commission or our representative for Menifee should say, acquire more right-of-way now before it gets built to project a 40 to 50 year down the road need, et cetera. And then bicycles, I have a expensive all aluminum frame bicycle. I'd like to see that bike lane connect from the north side of Newport Road to the south side underneath Newport Road, so it's not an at-grade crossing, so it becomes a Class 1. Thank you. God bless Menifee.
Thank you, Mr. Urbina. Madam Clerk.
There are no other requests to speak.
All right, very good. Thank you. We're going to move on now on our agenda. We're on item 8. This is council member comments and updates, and we'll start with Councilman Carwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a few things. Looking down my list, I don't know if I was at any of these that all 5 of us weren't at. It's pretty close. So I attended the brokers luncheon that was referenced by Mr. White earlier. I attended the Rotary Club Mayor's Charity Gala, which was, I'm hearing fantastic feedback from that. It raised a lot of money, so that was a wonderful event. The Quartz Ranch Park ribbon cutting, which the ribbon cuttings at the parks are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more festive, and that's great. Monday rather, I attended the WRCOG Executive Committee. Nothing there to report that relates really to Menifee, a lot of just updates, receive and file, that kind of thing. And then yesterday I attended the Citizens Academy first session at the Helm, another sellout group, and another waiting list only event. So it's a fantastic program. I've heard that the city of Murrieta is now building one based on the success of our program. So that's a fantastic piece of news, and that's all I have.
All right, great update. Councilman Estrada.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The other day I did attend the Citizens Academy, and all 5 of us were there, so that was great to show the residents our faces and make ourselves available to them and shake hands and be transparent, answer any questions they had. So I enjoy those. I enjoy those face-to-face personal interactions with our residents. On March 1st, I also went to the Mayor's Gala, and all of us city council members were there, and we had fun. We sang karaoke, and it was all in the name of raising money for our Rotary, and the Rotary does good things with that money here in our city. And then the next day, I went to the Quartz Ranch ribbon cutting. We had a great time, and believe it or not, we had sharks in Menifee. Who would have thought? We had sharks and tortoises, and the families had a great time. I enjoyed my time there. That's all I got.
All right, very good. Councilmember Sobek.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I start, we're a few places that I've attended and meetings. I'd just like to welcome our past council member, Lee Smyer, here tonight, who him and I had a great time at that reality rally supporting Michelle's Place in the first few years, along with some of our staff members. Also, I wanted to make mention, we had a public speaker, Carly, who talked about the bonfires in the hills. And I want to let you know that I've been in communication with a few of those residents who've been reporting that to me as a council person. And this morning, we had an on-site meeting. And I want to let you know that everybody in the city took this serious, because we had our police chief, Chris Carr, in attendance. We had our Captain Gutierrez, in attendance. We had our battalion chief, Bill Law, in attendance. We had Lieutenant Rivelas in attendance, who was representing the POP team. We had Terrence, our code enforcement officer, and we had Tyler from Public Works, who were out there, who came up with a game plan to try to protect that Millmore Road access that has been a problem. And the hillside, they're going to be contacting the property owner of that private property and making sure there's no trespassing signs placed out there. And they're doing a few other things. So I saw that there was I think Menifee 24/7 made a post, and I appreciate them making the awareness to our parents to know where their children are on the weekend nights. That was pretty scary, the bonfires up there recently, and just letting you know that our city staff are taking that seriously. So I wanted to let you know that. Also, I'd like to just report out that I attended this week the Menifee Interfaith and Community Service Council. They are a great nonprofit in our city, and they have coming up their signature events is Menifee Better Together. That will be coming up. I've heard this date a couple times tonight, the 27th of April. So I think that's the third thing that I've heard tonight. It's going to be a pretty busy day in Menifee. But if you don't know what Menifee Better Together is, it's a day where the community comes together to help one another and to beautify our city. And if you are interested, that will be out on the community service website by the 12th of this month, and we need about 700 to 800 volunteers, organizations, clubs, etc. And it's a beautiful day in Menifee, in Menifee Better Together. So it's from 8 to noon, and just look forward to that flyer where we'll be able to share some more information. I attended the SCAR breakfast with the city managers, and I want to commend our city manager for his presentation there. He did a wonderful job representing the city of Menifee. I think I have a picture of that right here. So Armando, thank you for that. I attended the Higher Education Coalition, and I see Michael Cannell here tonight. He attended that as well as the mayor attends that with me. This is a great collaborative in Southwest Riverside County. We are not working in a silo with this. We all would like, yes, a higher education campus in our cities, but we have come together as elected officials knowing that we have to work on this as a regional issue and stop the brain drain in Southwest Riverside County. The coalition is seeking support from stakeholders in our region through the adoption of a resolution we'll be hopefully approving tonight. And we are leveraging and securing outside funding for the required MSJC Temecula Valley campus, where the third floor will be the start of Cal State San Marcos. We just need to raise the money for the TIs. And so we're looking for partners in that. And if you have interest in that, you can contact me or the mayor. We both serve on that. I attended the Brokers Luncheon, and I just want to say congratulations to this year's Menifee Broker of the Year. Well, there's 3 of them. So it was Gordon Mize of Lee and Associates, Tucker, I think it's Horstein, and Hank Jenkins of Coyers. And I just want to say congratulations to them. I again attended the Rotary, and I agree with Councilmember Estrada that the Rotary does great things in the city of Menifee. I attended the Quartz Park grand opening, and it was also a Wildlife Appreciation Day, and it was great to see all the families out there enjoying the park. Lennar Homes built a beautiful park in partnerships with our city, and as Councilmember Estrada mentioned, yes, there were sharks, but there was also red-tailed hawks and other animals that the children and families got to attend. I was impressed by the pickleball court. We have been asked, this is something that's being asked all the time, and there's a beautiful pickleball court there. I attended the Regional Conservation Authority as Ann Mayer was here tonight with the presentation. Nothing much to my council members, just basic information, but I do want to let you know there was an announcement made that they do expect a good poppy bloom tonight, or this spring, and that Walker Canyon is now is private and cannot be used. It's closed off, and they ask us that we enjoy the poppies from afar. So also the Citizens Academy I attended, and I think that's it for tonight. So
All right,
thank
very
you.
good report. Mayor Pro Tem Dinas is next.
Thank you. On February 22nd, I attended the RTA Board of Directors meeting. On the 23rd, the mayor and I met with Congressman Calvert to discuss Menifee projects. On the 24th, I had the honor of attending VFW 1956 Award Luncheon. I thank you for that honor. At the luncheon, Supervisor Washington was a keynote speaker, and Menifee PD's own Jason Cobb was awarded the Public Servant Award for that, so that was really great. On the 26th, the U.S. Energy Secretary came to Menifee to look at KB Home's self-contained community with all electric. So we met with her there. She took a tour and sat down and talked to some residents there. On the 28th, I attended the Southwest T-Now meeting. Then today I attended the RTA Admin and Operations Committee meeting, and that's all I have.
All right, very good, and thank you for representing us at the energy thing at KB. That's great. All right, I'm going to try to be quick here. This is since our last meeting on February 21st. On February, Thursday, the 22nd, I also attended the, it's called SARCAR, but they're the Association of Realtors, and they hosted that breakfast with the city managers with all 6 of the Southwest cities, and Armando did a great job. But there was a few hundred people at that event. I was very impressed. So on Friday the 23rd, Congressman Calvert came to visit with us, and I just wanted to kind of share with you today that Calvert announced that the House passed House Resolution 4366, and that included transportation funding that he advocated for, which included $2.2 million for our Garbani Road I-215 interchange. So staff, we need to do a NEPA study on that one. So we're going to be getting some federal funding. All right, next up, I went to, on Saturday, the Mott Museum hosted an open house. Our chamber representatives were there. There was our Sun City Cruisers Car Club was there. And it was just nice to be able to thank them for all the great things they do for our community. On Monday, the 26th, Western Riverside County Projects and Programs Commission I attended. That's a subsidiary of RCTC. And then I also, our media and our community services staff did a tour of the History Museum. You know, they have an art and culture program, and so it's kind of a shared effort between Arts Council Menifee and the History Association and our staff that's promoting our culture here. So it's nice that they took the time to come and see what's happening at our museum. And then that evening, Menifee Union School District held their Partners in Education event that I attended as an opportunity to network with a lot of our local businesses that support our schools and our students. On Tuesday, the 27th, there was a chamber wake-up at Ready, Set, Game, and I don't remember if anybody else went. I think it was me. And then there was the Southwest Higher Ed Coalition. I attended that. That was in Murrieta. And then the State of the City Committee, and Councilman Dinas is on that. And is it okay for us to announce what the upcoming theme is going to be that our Mayor Pro Tem came up with? Is that all right? Is Gina's over there? Yeah. All right. So Councilman Dinas, maybe you could share what it is.
The first one was rejected, but this theme this year will be Hometown of Heroes, and we'll look at our military, first responders, and others, residents here that have served our community in heroic ways. So thank you.
I think that's great because you can honor veterans with that. You can honor the guy that's filling potholes. I mean, we're full of heroes around here, and so it's a really great theme, and I think it really opens up opportunities to do what we want to do, and that's have a theme that honors our folks here. All right, so good job. All right, so then let's see, what else did I do? I'm doing all kind of stuff here. On Thursday, the 29th, there was the Brokers Luncheon, and that was a great opportunity to thank them for bringing us lots of new restaurants and businesses. On Friday, March 1st, I went to the Murrieta Temecula group over at Wilson Creek Winery, and Chad Bianco was the speaker. And then that evening was the Rotary Club's charity gala, and all the council members were there, and it was a nice event. Well done. On Saturday, March 2nd, Menifee Valley Little League had their opening ceremonies over at Winchester Field, and so I got to go there and cheer on all of our young students and ball players. And then I also joined my colleagues at the ribbon cutting at Quartz Ranch and the Wildlife Day. And on March 4th, Sun City Green Space, Councilman Carwin was at that one. I knew you always forget one.
Forget one every single time.
Right, so the green space was an opportunity for folks in Sun City to talk about what they wanted to see at their, we don't even call it a park anymore, we're calling it a Serenity Garden or something like that. But what was there, 150 people that came? I was amazed at the
Place was
turnout.
completely full,
Yes. So it was great, and our staff did a really good job hearing all of the thoughts and concerns and factoring that in as they get ready to go to design. All right, and then that evening, we had our local Cub Scout pack, 2228. They came to City Hall. Rebecca Kramer stayed late for an extra hour and opened up the council chambers for us and let the kids sit right here at the dais and get to see what it's like to be a city council member. So that was a nice treat for all of us. And then on Tuesday, the 5th, Interfaith Council meeting, my wife is our Historical Association president, and so she got to present to the Interfaith Council.
You were being very shy. You were being very modest, Mayor. Mayor and his wife made a beautiful presentation. I think they need to make before the city council on the history of Menifee because it was so good.
We can have some fun. All right, and then finally, last night was the Citizens Academy. That was the first class. I think this is our third session that we're doing, and so it was great to see so many people. Andrea's here. He was at last night's, and Monica was at the previous group, the second class. So it's good to see citizens who are engaged. So that's all I have. Council members, do we have anything else to add? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on. We're on item 9. This is our approval of minutes from December 6th. If there's no changes, council members, all in favor, would you please say aye? Aye. All right, and those minutes are approved unanimously. We're now on item 10. This is the consent calendar. I do believe we did already pull item 10.8, but let me read this real quick. All matters on the calendar are to be approved in one motion unless a council member requests a separate action on an item on the consent calendar. If an item is removed from the calendar, it'll be discussed individually and acted upon separately. So, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on our consent calendar items?
Yes, request to speak on item 10.9.
Okay, and who would that be?
Matt Leesmeyer.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Leesmeyer.
Hello again. So, I know you guys have heard me before, kind of pulling the plug on projects because I feel like they're designed in a vacuum and trying to make sure that things were getting done completely correct the first time. So I kind of feel like this is one of them. Just asking for a little bit of transparency on this because, you know, as the public understands, this is a temporary parking lot in an area where we're going to hopefully maybe one day build City Hall, which we don't know how big it's going to be. We're now over $353,000 on design alone for a parking lot. Just to give you an example, you guys know what I do for a living. I have a private engineering firm in town. The entire shopping center for the project that I was involved with at Bradley and Newport, the entire contract for that client was $150,000. That's all the civil engineering, all the way underground, everything. So something's not right. The costs are not being controlled, and I'm urging you guys to kind of wave the flag because, again, this is a temporary parking lot. It's kind of a throwaway. We don't know how big City Hall is going to be. We don't know what the impacts are going to be with that parking. It just doesn't smell right. It doesn't pass the smell test. So hopefully you guys can dig into a little bit and find out where the end of it is. Kind of like with 10.8. So we know that 10.8 was pulled probably because there's no sewer. So hopefully you guys can look into it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Leesmeyer. Madam Clerk, any other speakers on consent?
No other requests to speak on consent.
All right. Council members, do we have any items that we'd like to pull for discussion?
Yes, 10.5, please.
I'd like to pull 10.10, and based on the public comment, I think I'll also pull 10.9.
Any others, council members? Can we get a motion to approve the balance, please? So moved. Okay, let's go ahead and. Okay, and I see that the balance of the consent items passed unanimously. We'll go ahead and take our first item. It's 10.5 that was pulled by Councilmember Estrada. This is Southwest Higher Ed Coalition. Did you want a staff report or did you have questions? What's your
Yeah, I just wanted to take it behind the dais and ask my colleagues a little bit more about this. My first question is, are there any talks about the Menifee MSJC campus getting resources and directing a four-year university this direction? Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be at the MSJC campus, but what are some of the goals or talks being talked about for a four-year university in Menifee?
So we could, go ahead, staff. Do you want me to go ahead and say a couple things, or do you want staff?
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know what our Councilmember Estrada. I'd be happy to make some comments, but I don't know if you want to hear from staff.
Prefer to hear from staff? Or?
Well, let me hear it from you two, because we're the visionaries, and I want to know what your long-term goals are.
Okay. So let me just start. Menifee campus is a community college campus that has a master plan on it already, and it has a plan for a full build-out. It even has a performing arts center on the plan for the future. But there is no place where a four-year college could be placed on the campus. However, MSJC has a Temecula campus that has an empty shell building. They're using this building and they're providing classes, but this empty one is sitting here. And so meanwhile, Cal State San Marcos has came and taken a look and said, we could do a four-year school there, but we would need to do tenant improvements on that floor that's just an empty shell right now, and it's somewhere around $11 million. So there's a coalition of electeds who have gotten together and identified there is a need that would serve this whole area, because right now if you want to go to four-year school, Cal State, you're going north up to Riverside, San Bernardino area, or you're going to San Marcos. We don't have one here. And so here's this empty shell. You don't need to build a building or do anything. It's already done. They just need to furnish it. And so that's the effort, and that's kind of why this group is championing this. Where the money's going to come from is the question mark. Maybe there's ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan money that the county might still have and can contribute. Those are all being explored right now, and that's where we're at. Very, very new. And I don't know, maybe Sobek wants to add some
very
more.
new at the beginning. We've been studying this for the last 2 years as Southwest electeds, and we have learned that there's about 4,200 students who drive to San Marcos from the Southwest area. This is a satellite. We are working with MSJC, and they are partnered. It's not just one higher education. We're hoping to move forward, but San Marcos does have a foot in the door. They are interested, so we have been down there to their board, have talked to them. They've been up here and talked to us a few times. What we do know is once they have 5,000 students attending their satellite, they will look for property in the Southwest region to build a permanent site school. So we're about 4,200. What is happening though in their data is the students are traveling there and actually not finishing because they're tired of the drive. And so that's a big issue that they have. They're bringing all kinds of nursing, education, IT, all kinds of classes that are needed in the region here. And so the coalition is not just electeds. We have every single representative from every single hospital and medical that's in the area. We have business, we have chamber, and
water districts.
Water district, and we are in the process of getting all the cities to sign the resolution of support, and others are just doing letters of support who do not do resolutions.
And let me just add one more thing. The resolution that has been drafted does not commit us to anything other than advocating for and acknowledging and supporting, kind of more like rah, rah, rah. This doesn't mean we have to provide funding or anything like that. There's no commitment. It's just we're behind the effort and we see the need. That's what.
And in fact, the very first meeting where we started doing our research was held here at City Hall, and Miss Gina Gonzalez was behind getting that guest speaker for us to help educate us of the region and the needs.
I'm a big advocate for the higher education. There is a need. What are you two doing, and how does the pecking order work with all the other elected officials? What are the conversations like? Are you advocating for Menifee? Because I, as a student, would still have the same problem if I'm driving from Menifee to Temecula or from Menifee to UCR. It's almost the same commute in my time and efforts. So I think I'd like to hear you guys advocate for the campus here in Menifee and help give us a unique identity and help our residents here. And it seems a little bit off to say, yeah, Menifee, we're advocating for Temecula, and I get the bigger goal, the regional goal, but our pay, our time, our energy, I want to hear you guys advocate for it to come to Menifee. So
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, I think Ms. Gonzalez can answer
So
that.
you're spot on, and the council has been very active about that. I would just like to add that we have had discussions with Cal State San Marcos for multiple years, and in fact, they actually expressed an interest in coming to Menifee, but what they needed was an existing city facility that was anywhere from 25 to 35,000 square feet, which the city does not currently own. And partially with that is that they would want the city to discount the lease in order to occupy that building, and the city was not in a position to do that at that time. So they ended up moving to looking at what was existing in the area, and that is what led them to the discussions because of a prior relationship that they had with Mr. Schultz at MSJC, because there was a time when Cal State San Marcos did occupy one of the buildings there, but they did since move out of it and went to Temecula, one of the schools, because of the lack of space for the students that were attending. But they are still very interested in there's only so many cities in our region that have the capacity for that permanent campus, and Menifee is one of two.
And if we continue to work in a silo, this will not happen. So we have worked on it for, like I said, for the past 2 years and have had many, many discussions with representatives from most all the cities in Southwest Riverside County, and we came to the conclusion we have to work together to bring that here to stop that brain drain that, as I mentioned earlier. And so it's a collaborative work. It's a collaborative effort.
And let me add this too. It's not an invitation-only meeting. You're welcome to attend. I would hope that you would come and join the conversation.
And it doesn't stop with Cal State San Marcos. This opens the door for other four-year education, to your point.
It's opening the door for other four-year as well as trade schools in our area. The conversation has really spread to the state as well as the county, and we are looking at, we need that funding, and we have some avenues to hopefully get it.
yeah, please take in consideration, and I know you guys do, but I wanted to bring it up in discussion saying, hey, I'd like to see it actually here. So thank you.
I think we all would. Unfortunately, we don't have a big empty shell of a building that's waiting to be furnished like Temecula has. They've got the advantage there. If we had it here, we'd be doing it here. So it's just a matter of taking advantage of a space that's readily available and just needs to be, have tenant improvements done, so. All right, so are you okay? You want to make that motion?
All right. Motion to approve.
Item 10.5.
I'll second.
And then, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I apologize. I have one request to speak on this.
Oh, we got a speaker on this. Let me guess.
Yes, Francisco Urbina.
Welcome, Mr. Urbina.
Thank you. I support a four-year university. However, I want to be affiliated with Cal Poly Pomona because the Cal Polys offer majors that no other state university offers, such as urban and regional planning, architecture, landscape architecture, a Master of Science in Regenerative Studies, and hotel and restaurant management bachelor's degree, as has been Cal Poly Pomona has been affiliated with College of the Desert for many years. There's a Cal State San Bernardino, the Palm Desert campus. I'm very happy to hear that this will open the door for other universities, and I might want to teach Introduction to Urban Planning, Landscape Architecture, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, we need a four-year campus. I would rather have it in Menifee than in Temecula, but when I was a planner in Temecula, I worked on that project. Thank you. God bless Menifee.
All right, thank you. Any other speakers, Madam Clerk? I think we do have a motion
No.
and maybe even a second.
Yeah, I second.
Okay. Awesome. That looks like that passed unanimously. And Councilman Estrada, I'm just going to add, next meeting, I'm going to invite you, and hopefully you can come join us.
All right, thank you.
All right, next one is item 10.9, and this was pulled by Councilmember Sobek with the encouragement from Mr. Leesmeyer. And so what's your pleasure on
Yeah,
this
you know,
item?
he brought up some, if you can just acknowledge some of the questions he had and clarify the Civic Center parking lot, if it's a temporary or permanent, and if it is a temporary, for how long?
Honorable Mayor, council members, Nick Fiddler, Public Works Director, and thank you for the opportunity to share the project. The Civic Center parking lot is not temporary. It is an ultimate parking lot. It will facilitate the future development of the City Hall site and also accommodate additional parking for the new amphitheater expansion that the city is currently undergoing. The project includes several elements. It's not just a paved parking lot. It has stormwater quality management systems, lighting, irrigation. It's set up for future events within the parking lot to host events inside of it, maybe Foodie Fridays. There will be event space planning. There is a passive park area that will be associated with the new parking lot site. Future setup for EV charging stations, solar panel systems for the future City Hall site. So it is a quite complex project. There have been some challenges with the project. We've been working with Riverside County Flood Control District, trying to create our water quality features that will dump directly into the Paloma Wash Channel. They asked us to make some changes through that system. We've been working with Southern Cal Edison and trying to accommodate for the lighting and the charging stations and the future City Hall site. EMWD also requested some changes to the design of the irrigation systems for the parking site as well. So these are some of the challenges that caused the additional work. We're also working with the hotel. Right now there is a temporary access between the hotel site and the current soccer fields and like a temporary parking lot. They came to us at the last hour and said, you know what, we feel that that's a security issue because we had designed in a cross parcel access. So we had to make a little bit of revisions, not a whole lot, but just to remove that cross aisle access because they were afraid that people would be able to drive out the backside of their hotel and would lessen the security of the people that are staying in that facility. So it isn't a temporary, it's a permanent facility. It's planned and space set aside for our future City Hall site. So this isn't something that is going to be wasted. And right now we're anticipating the project cost is somewhere about $2.8 million, which is comparable for the cost of the services that we're receiving.
Thank you for answering those questions and for sharing the scope of the work that is going to be done there. Thank you.
You want to make a motion, Councilmember?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and approve 10.9.
I'll second.
All right, that passed unanimously. We're on our last pulled item is 10.10. This is the purchase order for AMR Skate Park Improvement Projects, prefab buildings. Councilmember Sobek, did you want a staff report or did you have questions? What's
Yeah,
your
I
question?
just have a question. I was, this hasn't even started yet, and they're asking for an increase of $29,400 plus. And through reading the staff report, it looks like that someone left out the sales tax. And I'd like to know if that was on our staff side or if that was on the bidding side of the who's doing the project, it would be the company who's doing the prefabricated building.
Mayor and council members, I can answer that one. That was actually on the staff side. There's some very fine print on their quote that's within the staff report. So it's the second page of the attachment from ROMTech. So we missed that. The fine print says that sales or use tax is not included in the above price. So we missed that when we brought it forward the first time. So that was on the staff side. It is on their quote. We just did not see that.
Jonathan, was this a competitive bid or did we do it under a cooperative agreement?
We did it under a cooperative agreement, so it's a piggyback, so to speak, from other government agencies that use ROMTech.
Okay, because if we're comparing bidders and one of them looks cheaper and it's because there's fine print, then that's not fair.
No, ROMTech has already competitively bid and we're piggybacking on that cooperative agreement, but we just missed that amount on there. That amount is within the budget. We do have it covered for this project.
Thank you.
Okay, so maybe we can just be a little bit more careful and then in the future. And then I think what I would like to see, we have added and added and added more to that skate park. And I kind of would like to see a little breakdown to see how much we've invested in that skate park over the last several years.
Yeah, we can provide that.
Okay, thank you. So I'll make a motion that we approve 10.10.
Thank you, Mr. Nix, for the clarifications on that. All right, and I believe that passed. Kind of went away real fast. We are now on item 11, the public hearings, but there's none, so we'll move to 12. There are two discussion items. The first is 12.1. It's our general plan annual progress report. This is a receive and file item, so Mr. Darnell is just going to kind of give us the required by the state progress report.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. This item before you this evening is the City of Menifee's General Plan Annual Progress Report for 2023. To begin, here's a brief overview of Menifee's General Plan. First, the General Plan was adopted in December 2013. The General Plan has 8 elements, each covering areas such as land use, housing, and circulation. Each element includes goals, policies, and programs for the city's vision out to 2035. The city's 6th-cycle housing element update was adopted in late 2022, and in April of 2023 was certified by the Department of Housing and Community Development, HCD. And finally, other recent updates to the general plan include amendments to the land use, safety, and circulation elements. So, for what's being presented this evening, the annual progress report. State law requires that all jurisdictions within the state prepare an annual progress report and submit to both the Office of Planning and Research, OPR, and the Department of Housing and Community Development by April 1st of each year. The city reports on the implementation of goals and policies of the general plan and housing element programs, and also the city's progress towards meeting its regional housing needs allocation, also known as the RHNA. So the table you see here reflects that we have numerous goals and policies as well as implementation actions. Appendix A of the APR report includes a status update on all implementation actions except for the housing element programs. This presentation intends to highlight a few of the most notable general plan accomplishments for 2023, such as the plan examples you see on this slide. In 2023, the city made substantial progress on developing a plan for complete streets to safely and comfortably accommodate all modes of travel in the city. In March of last year, we adopted a local hazard mitigation plan. In July of 23, we adopted a comprehensive update to the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And then, of course, in June of 23 was the Capital Improvements Program that has over $700 million in funding for over 191 CIP projects over the next 5 years for transportation, parks and recreation, and public facilities projects, which all serve to implement the general plan and accommodate the city's growth into the future. For the housing element, we have the housing element APR includes updates on 42 housing element program actions. These are reflected in Appendix B, Table D of the APR report. Notable progress on implementation of the housing element. We completed Program Action 5, which was a development code amendment to comply with state requirements for housing sites identified in the 6th cycle housing element that were also identified in the prior housing element. We continue to implement the Senior Minor Home Repair Grant Program. For that, we assisted 12 households in 2023. Additionally, we launched a new single-family home improvement grant. These are for households other than seniors, assisting 8 households in 23. Program Actions 29 and 30, we've completed a draft market and inclusionary housing studies, which will be presented to the Planning Commission and City Council in the coming months. And finally, we recently adopted a major development code amendment, which updated housing-related provisions to implement several housing element program actions and comply with state law. These related to things like density bonus provisions, the ADU provisions that we had, requirements in compliance with SB 9 and so forth. So next I'll talk about the regional housing, the RHNA, Regional Housing Needs Allocation. It's the number of housing units we're required to accommodate over the next 8 years from 2021 to 2029. As you see in the table, our total RHNA for Menifee is 6,609 units. And then this is broken down by the various income categories, very low, moderate, and above moderate income. And It also shows the income ranges for each income category, and these are established by HUD for each county. This shows how we're doing on our progress in meeting the RHNA. We show the breakdown by income category and permits issued. What's notable is for 2023, we had permits issued for a total of 1,589 units, which is fantastic. We've completely met our RHNA requirement for the above moderate category, met and exceeded that already, just in the first couple years here. Additionally, in 2023, 635 units were entitled as part of an approved development project. Of the 1,589 units, we have a breakdown here. 1,227 of those were for single-family detached, 341 multifamily, 13 ADUs, and 8 manufactured home units. Finally, we've had 653 units that were completed and issued certificates of occupancy in 23. So in conclusion, just want to mention that this APR was presented to the Planning Commission on February 14th. And following this presentation to the council, we will be forwarding the APR to HCD and OPR by no later than April 1st. And with that, staff recommends that the council review the general plan and housing element annual progress report for 2023 as required by state law to show progress on the general plan and receive and file this report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Darnell. Council members, do we have any questions or comments? This is a receive and file item, so there's not much we need to do. Nothing? All right, Mr. Darnell, thank you very much for the update.
Thank you.
Please proceed ahead. We are now on item 12.2. This is
Mayor, I apologize. There was a speaker on that.
You're right. I'm sorry. I saw the finish line and I sprinted. Do we have any speakers? I'm assuming Mr. Rubina would like to share his thoughts.
Good evening again, Mayor Zimmerman, members of City Council. I asked a question of Cheryl, our Community Development Director, and I'm glad that City of Menifee's general plan does have an urban design element. Architectural guidelines and urban design and landscape architecture is very important. Even though we say don't judge a book by its cover, we do it all the time. And having high quality aesthetics in a city such as City of Palm Desert, where I worked for 5 years, is very important. Regarding the housing element, one recommendation that I made to a developer who was going to be building single-family homes in Coachella, which is probably 90% of the population is of Hispanic heritage, and it is not uncommon to find 2 or 3 generations living on the same property. So here's a recommendation I made, and maybe there can be incentives to jawbone, if you will, developers like Lennar Homes or Kaufman and Broad to offer as a standard a detached granny flat unit, but it doesn't have to necessarily be for grandmothers. It can be for any family member, or, you know, if you want to rent it out, blah, blah, blah. Because there are economies of scale when a developer puts in the sewer and water line or even a stub and let the future property owner decide, you know, what size they want to make the second unit. But as long as we have requirements that the detached granny unit, or it could be attached, has to match the architecture of the principal home, and that there is enough off-site parking provided for that detached granny unit. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your input, Madam Clerk. Any other speakers?
No, there are no other speakers.
Thank you. So we received and filed that item. We're going to move on to 12.2. This is the Key to the City program. I think Gina Gonzalez is going to share with us some options for the council to consider.
Good evening. On July 19th, Councilmember Sobek requested a future agenda item to bring this back to the council. The Key to the City is a symbolic gesture of appreciation and welcoming of recognition to a city through the presentation of a physical ceremonial key. Other options to award appreciation or honor citizens can be done through resolutions, certificates. There's an array of methods that can be used. Receiving a key, though, is one of the highest honors and is typically only presented in a manner that is consistent to the city's mission, vision, and goals, and really is reserved for individuals who service to the public that rises to the highest level of achievement. So it's very, very selective. Many cities that have established an application or nomination process, they can include concurrence from at least 3 council members for receiving the Key to the City recognition. And some cities go to the extent of including or requiring the entire city council. Typically, the mayor or his or her designee will present the approved recipient the key to the city at an event or during a city council meeting. Those that are recognized as part of a particular program can include, in which I have done the research, this is a list, residents with a significant accomplishment in the military service, residents reaching the age of 100 years old or young, a person who performed an act of heroism within the city limits, a dignitary or celebrity visiting the city, or a sister city or delegation from another country visiting the city, or requests of unique circumstances other than that are listed, deemed appropriate by staff, meaning the city manager, that would be considered a case-by-case basis at a future council meeting. In review of regional city programs around the area, here's kind of a makeup. Temecula currently has a program, and the keys only go to long-term elected upon retirement. Wildemar does not have a program, Canyon Lake does not have a program, Elsinore does not have a program, and Marietta does, but least common form of recognition that they've listed as part of their policy and is only given at council meetings or special meetings, and they have to have a unanimous agreement of the entire city council to give the key to someone or an organization. Currently, this is a breakdown of the costs, reference forms of recognition, including or excluding, program management costs, from a certificate hard folder, or resolution costs, the key to the city, or a key to the city with a presentation box. So there's an array of things that we could do. If the city council provides direction to move forward with the program, staff will develop the program parameters and prepare a cost analysis for review and consideration at a future meeting. Staff's recommendation is to discuss and provide feedback.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. So council members, do we have any questions at this time before we discuss it?
I just have one question. Okay. Can you remind me the 2 certificates that we do now that we're able to, certificate of recognition, and is it a certificate?
Or proclamation?
No, but isn't there a certificate of achievement and a certificate of, what is it? Recognition and achievement. Okay, so we have those. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, is there any request to speak on this item?
No request to speak.
Council members, we can open up for discussion, thoughts, direction to staff. What do you guys want to do? I'm okay with it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, so I love the thoughts and the list that you made here. I don't see the key to the city being something that we give very often. It's a tool that we have in our toolbox that when there is an exceptional situation, that we have it available. I know the mayor has made a few visits at 100-year-olds in our city, and I actually didn't even think of that one to be on the list until I read it, and I think it's a great honor. And that's what I see this as. The key to the city is the city's, like you said, the highest honor. So the majority of the council, I think, if we were to give it, it should be a vote from the majority of the council. So those are kind of my thoughts.
Okay, Councilman Carwin.
I like when we honor our citizens. I think it's great. People like to be recognized for their achievements. I think this program is extra and kind of a waste of time and resources. I think we already have a mechanism to honor people. We go, now we're going to super honor somebody. And by doing that, we're going to create a program and order keys. And here you turned 100. Here's one more thing to clutter your house with. You know, where are you going to put it? And the Rock comes to Menifee. We're going to give him this, and is he going to display it in his case somewhere? It just seems like we already do a recognition program. I don't know why we need another super recognition program. Most of the cities around us don't have it. I just think this is just piling on to something it seems duplicative and repetitive, and I like honoring people. We have a mechanism to do it. I'm not saying we don't honor people. I'm just saying we don't need more of a super recognition. And then we get a key to the city. We're like, well, somebody comes in who's better than even a key to the city. What do? We give them the combination lock to our pantry. I mean, it just seems to be building on something we already do. I don't think we need it.
But it's the Rock. All right, Councilman Estrada.
Yeah, I have the same sentiments. These fluffy pageantry items, we have so many other important things to do, things like sister cities, keys to the cities. What everyone's worried about is traffic. Can they get to and from work? Can they get to and from school? Do we have mom and pop shops to eat? What type of entertainment do we have? What's our economic development doing to bring those businesses here? We're a young city, only 16 years old. Maybe we'll come across a couple people to give this to, but being so young in our history right now, maybe something in the future, this might be better fitting, but I think we have other priorities right now.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
My turn. I have a question. Would this be for individuals or companies, corporations? I mean, where do we, I guess, where do we, stop it at as who would get one of these keys? Would it be preferred just be individuals, or, I mean, I think it'd be for individuals. I mean, I prefer it to be just strictly individuals. I just want to make sure that we clarify that and I understand what that it'd be for individuals, not, corporation come in here and build the stadium at the college, but I don't know if that does, to me, that doesn't deserve the key to the
Right.
the city. That's their advertising.
I think staff is looking for our direction, so I appreciate you. I believe, too, I see it as an individual. Someone like from the list that was provided from us is a great guideline.
Right. And, I think it'd be something nice to have. I don't see this happening very much, unless, like the sister cities type of thing where you give something like that for that kind of recognition. Because if you have something big and you give you give us a key to the city to someone, a dignitary or something, that brings, attention to the city in a positive manner. I know we have other things going on, but I think we can do both at the same time of addressing our issues and doing a key program myself. So I'm all for it. I think with the proper guardrails on limiting who would be able to get it, then I'd support it.
What if we went high tech and did the key card to the city? They're cheaper. All right, well, I support it too, so it sounds like there's 3 of us that are saying, please proceed ahead and bring us back something for us to consider.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gina. All right, so with that now, we're going to move on. Mr. City Attorney, do you have anything to report for us tonight?
Not tonight, Mayor.
And Mr. City Manager will give you another chance for part 2.
I have another idea, a key, instead of a key card, how about an app?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing to report.
Nothing, all right. And council members, any future agenda requests? All right, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and adjourn. It is 8:07. I want to thank everybody for being here. Appreciate you guys, and have a great night.